Good morning, everyone. Sarah here at Three Little Potters, and this video is about crafting an Etsy bestseller. I'm going to go over what I do to get ready for the holiday season on Etsy to make sure that I am making a maximum amount of profits. So let's get right into it. Step one is going to be look at your Etsy shop and decide if you need to do anything to get ready for the holiday. First thing that I would recommend for your shop is to have more than 50 items in your shop. As you can see right now, my shop is pretty bare. I only have 36 items. So step one for me is going to be to get a lot more things listed. And up here, my reviews are good, my shipping's good, but because I've been away from my desk, I haven't always been able to respond to messages within 24 hours. So that's another thing I'll be working on getting ready for the holidays. The next thing you want to do is, if you have an idea, is go ahead and check out the competition. Here you'll see that I've typed in pottery Christmas tree ornaments, and we can see a bit of what's available. That stands out to me right here as a really nice listing. This too, this looks really pretty. You know, I like that they've done the letters. I like that it's on maybe something like a frost porcelain. And because it doesn't appear to be glazed, then you could put that directly on your kiln shelf and it wouldn't stick to anything. So, but this is obviously a great listing. I'm not going to try to copy that, but it gives you a feel for what the price is and what you could potentially expect to make yourself. So for this one, selling for only $3.50, which is really quite low. It's not a ton of work, but even the box to ship it and the bubble wrap to go around it would be quite expensive here. So yeah, I would say that this person isn't making a huge amount of profit, but she probably is selling a ton of them. So you can see here that it's in 20 carts. So we know that at that price point, we're going to move a lot of those. But I also saw that the $11 item was in a lot of carts as well. As you can see, there were a lot of pottery Christmas tree ornaments available online. So that doesn't necessarily mean that I can't make one of those products this year. I find with Etsy that many of these small individual sellers are not able to keep up with the holiday demand. Even myself, if I was going to make an ornament, say I made 50 of the ornament, they sell out in the 2-day Cyber Monday sale, and then it's going to take me probably, with the making, drying, bisque firing, and then glaze firing, at least probably a week before I would be able to replenish my shop with more of that item. So even if you see amazing competition listed, then maybe amazing competition sells out within a few hours and then your shop gets another chance. If you've had an Etsy shop in the past, the quickest way to a bestseller is to be able to renew an item that's already been doing well for you. Here you can see a listing for my Christmas trees that I made last year. They are sold out at this point, so I will be looking at renewing and refreshing this listing. Step 3 is, after you have decided what you're going to make, you're going to look at your process of making and really try to streamline anything that you can. You know, when you're making just one of something, it's not a really big deal if it takes you an extra 10 minutes. If you're making 100 of this item, then it does make a big difference. So any small amount of time saving that you can shave off of your making process is really going to help you manufacture enough of these to get a bestseller. Since my listing is sold out, I don't have many of these left, but here's one of the Christmas trees I'm making. I'm also making a small one. And then the luminary Christmas trees, which are always a really good seller for me, I'm going to try to make a lot of this year. My plan is, for my bestseller, is to make these in bulk, and these are going to be the item that I offer during the Cyber sale, and that's starting November 16th on Etsy. So these will be, during that time, 25% off of my normal price. That will allow me to participate and test the sales numbers for Etsy during that crucial holiday shopping time window. So yesterday I spent a good deal of time developing my template for my tree and also developing a plan as to how I was going to punch out the holes. Last year I found that when I was punching the holes that ended up taking the most amount of time, and often because I was punching the holes when they were still a little bit wet so that I could go to bed, the insides would have sort of rough marks where the clay would sort of punch through. To help deal with those rough marks, my hope was that in creating a punch template and punching against a hard surface, that I wouldn't have the sharp interior edges to deal with and could hopefully do this quicker. So once I have my slab rolled out to, what's my thickness, 5 millimeters thick, I'm going ahead and put a texture design on it. My clay is a little bit sticky since I just cut it off the block, so I'm going to go ahead and lift and reposition that a little bit. And then hopefully I'll show you how this works. Okay, so what I'm doing here is punching through with this. I have these two templates offset so that I can make more holes. These are just little hole punches that I got for polymer clay. They're hollow in the inside, so as I push down the other clay parts from before, just kind of push out the top so that you can then just recycle that. And then I'm going to lift it off. And I have pre-punched my Christmas tree in the size that I want. And I put this together while it's still very wet so that I'm not having to score and slip and do other things as far as that is. Just sealing up that back seam, looking at the inside, running my finger along that edge. I'm going to come back in with my rolling pin, and I'm going to see if there's any spots where the seam is very noticeable, and I will sometimes try to put just a little bit more texture in there. The glaze will hide some of that, but I like it to look a little less like a seam. And these stars I have pre-made because they are, while they're just greenware clay, because they're separated, they don't need to dry at the same time as the Christmas tree, so they can already be on there. Okay, one down, 99 more to go. Now that you've mass produced your item, and ideally you want at least 20 items in this listing, even better if you have 40 listings. I've noticed that when I have a quantity of over 20, the listing does very well. When I have a quantity of over 40 of something available, it does exceptionally well. So the more items you have in a listing, the more people Etsy is going to show that listing to, because they know they can keep selling it at a certain rate. So for these, I'm hoping to have, well, ideally I'd have 500 of these made by November 16th, but we'll see if I manage to make that goal or not. But yeah, I'm hoping to have at least 50 of those in my Cyber Monday listing, and ideally many more. When you're crafting your listing, if this is an item that you've sold before, definitely make sure you're renewing the listing rather than creating a new listing. When you renew a listing, you're kind of giving the algorithm a head start. It knows what people liked it knows it sold well, and it has some reviews that it can put up for the specific item you're selling, and therefore you're just starting that much more ahead of the game. However, even when you're renewing a listing, you definitely want to make sure that you're using fresh photos, that you're not just recycling the same photos from last year. You want fresh, new photos. And I would also encourage you to do one stylized photo. This is not something that I often do in my listings, but for a mega listing, it's great if you can fit in one stylized photo that really shows it in use or shows it with some other sort of Christmas holiday decor. When you're shopping for holiday seasonal decor, especially, I find people are really receptive to seeing it in a space, to being able to imagine maybe the lights underneath of it shining through. Whatever item you're making, having that one stylized photo can really help boost your sales. And the last bit of advice I have for you is be prepared to sell out. Make sure you have shipping boxes, make sure you have labels, make sure you have tape. You do not want to be the person that's looking at their screen going, I can't ship 50 orders by tomorrow. And that's what Etsy's expecting of me. You don't want to be that person. Be ready, be prepared, be like, okay, this is my plan. I know on Cyber Monday, I will plan to be up till midnight shipping. I have a plan that, I know that if I ship more than 30 large packages a day, that I'm pretty much wiped. So I will know that I need to split it. Like, okay, I'm going to do 30 tonight and I'm going to do 30 tomorrow morning when I wake up until it gets done. So, be prepared and have a plan. Don't list an amount that you can't ship, that you can't keep up with. Don't take on more than you can do, because once you start getting those dings for not shipping on time, then your listing's done for and you're not going to get shown to people and you're not going to make the ton of money that you want to make. I'm going to update you on this listing as it gets closer to November 16th, and then what we do on Cyber Monday, I'm going to give you sales numbers and all of my Etsy info and everything going into that. So keep an eye on my channel if you would like to see more of how this all works out for me and if I do manage to make 500 Christmas tree luminaries. And best of luck with your own Etsy projects this holiday season. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.